Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to part 11 of In-Depth Looksie for Codex Skitarii. That was weird. But anyways, this is a wrap-up. I cover the Codex, everything in it except formations. That's something you can discover on your own time. And I went as in-depth as I felt comfortable doing while hopefully not getting in trouble. That's why I left the stat lines vague-ish, but hopefully easy enough to follow along with. And that's why I didn't go over point cost specifically. But with that being said, my goal was to put the codex on the table for you, let you have a look into it as in depth as I could do, and let you make a decision for yourself if you're on the fence, curious about maybe purchasing the codex or not. I'm not trying to make you like it. I'm not trying to sell you something. This is not my job. This is my company, and this is not my product. So my goal isn't to make you like something or persuade you to like it. My goal is to just give you the information, as much information as I can, to help you make a more informed decision moving forward. And if that decision is to purchase the codex or not to, then that's mission accomplished. So if that helped you out, that's great. the Skitarii as a force, I'm a fan of them because I'm a fan of the Mechanicum and they're a part of that. And especially now with the fact that the Mechanicum is coming out with the second codex, more Mechanicum-y, people may look at the Skitarii as just a force that was put out so we can start collecting a mechanical force and needs the second Adeptus Mechanicus Codex to be useful. And that's not the case. Hopefully you've seen that while the Codex is not very diverse, only 7 units, that it's perfectly capable of standing on its own 2 legs and dishing out damage and being competitive and fun to play. Because I really do feel it can do that. And that's important. It's important not to look at it just as the start to something bigger. Fluff-wise, yes, the Skitarii do not fight alone. But armorless composition-wise, they can, and be effective. Me personally, if I were to actually delve into collecting a Mechanicum force, I would combine both codices together. Have one be the ally of the other, just because I would want to get the maximum effect possible for the Mechanicum feel. And for me, it would be to combine both codices together. But that's purely on my own personal view on it. It's not because it needs to be done. It's just something I would want to do. But the codex is very much capable of standing on its own 2 feet. Now, with that being said, there is a drawback to this codex, just like there's a drawback to any codex. Every codex has their pros and their cons. And one of the big cons of this codex is the lack of deep striking or transport capability. Yes, there are unit rules and things like Dune Strider and half the scout rule for going battle forged, which help alleviate that, but you're still going to feel that sting. It's not going to get rid of the feeling of lacking deep strike and transports completely. It's like a band-aid on a cut that requires some stitches. It's not really going to fix the issue. But it's not a deal breaker. It's just something you have to be aware of. You have to understand and come to terms with the fact that your infantry is just going to be that much more exposed and have to do that much more work to get into good positions and whatnot. But it's not a deal breaker, just something you have to keep in mind. The lack of an HQ, not everybody's going to like it, I know that, but I feel it's fine. I've been thinking about the idea of not having an HQ for an army for a while now, to be honest, because, why must the battle being played represent the big breakthrough battle, and why are the 2 armies leaders clashing here? You read in the fluff and stories and stuff of how there is no, like the captain breaks through somewhere and the enemy commander isn't there, or the enemy commander breaks through a line and the other forces commander is somewhere else. So why must there be a Chasseur or a captain or a Farsi or whatever present at this particular battle? So the lack of the Skitarii having an HQ unit at all, I'm okay with that. I think it's cool, to be honest. The only reason I think there should be one in this codex is because of the fluff of the Skitarii Overseer. I've harped on this before, and I'm harping on it again here. If you're going to give us fluff, even those 3 little paragraphs is still fluff on a particular unit-sounding name thing, the Skitarii Overseer, sounds like a unit, and you're going to describe them as the commanders of the Skitarii forces and give them a little bit of backstory depending upon where they come from, be it Night World or Vanguard or Ranger stock, it sounds like you're setting us up for an HQ potential, and it's not there. So that is why I personally would have liked to see an HQ in this codex, not because it needs it army list wise, but because the fluff paints a picture as something that we don't get. So that's my thought on the idea of an HQ. Not needed for this army itself, but the fluff kind of makes me wish it was there. So what else is there to say, really? Not much, to be honest. If you're looking to collect the Skitarii, you have to keep in mind that the Skitarii kit, the one that makes the Vanguard and the Rangers, I'm not sure about the Ruststalker slash Infiltrator kit, but I know for the Vanguard and the Rangers, certain torsos fit only to certain legs. Keep a good eye on the instruction manual for how to put the things together. And you're definitely going to want to paint the legs and torso separately, the torso having that jacket thing that's flowing, the legs taking up a good chunk of that, just to help get more detail into your model. But because of that, and because of the way the arms and stuff are sculpted, you're not going to have the craziest amount of potential for customizing or converting. The conversions you could do will be very slim without extensive kind of model surgery. But that's okay. Not every kit has to be crazy, ridiculous with conversion potential. The stuff from the Skitarii still look great. However, if you really are looking for a way to distinguish your force from your buddy's force, aside from a paint scheme difference, you can check out Forge World's Tech Thralls. The Horus Heresy Mechanicum Tech Thralls. They can work great for doing your basic bare bones trooper, be it a galvanic rifle and Skitarii armor, or the radium carbine and the Skitarii armor. Your basic bare bones trooper, these Tech Thralls can represent. And you can just buy one kit of them and use it just for the Rangers or just for the Vanguard and disperse them here and there throughout the number of squads you have. And it'll help make your force look a bit different and stand out a little bit. They have the Mechanicum look because they are part of the Mechanicum from where they came from. So that can work for you, but it's really the only way you're going to get a one-for-one transfer or change in look for your force that doesn't require a dissertation as to what it's representing. So that is a suggestion. It's not the strongest, but it's a suggestion nonetheless. Now, with that being said, at the end of the day, if you are still interested in the Skitarii Codex after my in-depth Looksie ramble, after potentially reading or watching other people's reviews on the Codex, if you still have an interest in them, at the very least pick up the Codex. There's no need to wait and then catch up on it. At this point, there's nothing to scare you away from it. You are prepared for what's going to be in there. And if you're still interested, you might as well pick it up. It's a potential money waster, I get that, because it is a good chance that you still might not want to build them after becoming really aware of what's in the Codex to help you out. But it's the next best step. Pick it up and start reading it yourself. Become accustomed with the pages and the units in there. Get a feel for the point totals. Build some hypothetical lists with it, but just pick up the Codex. Don't worry about picking up anything else in the meantime. Just the Codex, get used to it. And then you can pick up any other stuff you want, like let's say the second Mechanicum Codex, get used to it and compare the two if that's what you're looking to do or not. But for this Codex, if after this in-depth Looksie and other people's reviews that are out there, if you still have an interest, my best recommendation is just pick up the Codex. Just pick it up, read it, get a feel for it, and then move on from there. So with that being said, that's it for the Skitarii Codex. Thanks for sticking through this in depth. Probably went a bit longer than people were expecting, but I really wanted to give this Codex some proper time in the limelight and lay it all out on the table for you. I like doing in-depth Looksie. It's kind of like my old Codex in-depths I used to do, only this one's a lot safer for me to do than the Codex in-depths were. And my plan is to continue on. But instead of just devoting singularly to one Codex, which has basically made me stop doing Battletech vids and stop just doing other random 40k vids, I'm going to make it more freeform, because there's plenty of codices that I want to talk about. There's a few that I own, there's a few coming out that I will own ASAP and that I want to do. One of the examples is I want to do Tau, but I'm also going to want to do some other stuff at the same time. So what I'm going to do on my end is relearn how to make playlists so I can organize the stuff in playlists. That way, if people want to check out, let's say the Tau that when I'm doing it, and let's say I'm doing 2 other codices at the same time, each one will be in its own playlist to be easier to follow along and manage for yourself so you don't go crazy. Because I'm going to be doing other 40k rambles of stuff, Battletech rambles. It's going to get crazy. Well, as crazy as uploading stuff every so often can get. So, anyways, that's my plan of attack for the future with this series and other stuff. So, hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for sticking through it, and until next time, take it easy.